morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up. It knows it must outrun the fastest lion, or it will be eaten. Every morning in Africa, a lion wakes up. It knows it must outrun the slowest gazelle, or it will starve. It doesn't matter if you're a lion or a gazelle. When you wake up in the morning, you better be running. Madam Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. When you look at me, you don't think of a lion or a gazelle. You probably more accurately think of a water bubble. I have always been a big guy and never been at the front of the race. But running has taught me many important lessons in my life. It has shown me that in order to get where you want to go, you better be running, even if your destination is not always what you expect. Let us go back about 15 years to the beginning of my running career. It was prom night in my high school, and I didn't have a date. Instead, I had a date with my parents in some old movie on television called Chariots of Fire. I looked at the fat sophomore in the mirror and was devastated. I could almost hear the girls in my high school saying, "I can do so much better than Tony." I decided I was never going to be alone on prom night ever again. And that is when I told myself, you better be running. I ran to the end of the driveway and back. I even made an extra loop around the farm warehouse for extra effort. I ran all summer. While my running didn't make me any more popular with the ladies, it did get me in shape for football, and I was able to earn a starting position on the high school football team. So while my running did not help me walk down the aisle for Grand March, it did help me run through the players' tunnel on Friday night. And that is when I learned the lesson: you better be running. Fast forward through high school graduation, and I go off to college, and it seems like the only time I'm ever running is during community festival fun runs. During one Labor Day morning 5-mile run, I thought I was maintaining a pretty good pace when I saw the crowd going off in front of me. I was in last place. Now, I don't mind being slow. A lot of people are slow. But only one person suffers the embarrassment of being in last place. Do you think running is hard? Try running with a fire truck following you at 4 miles per hour. I went around the curve to the final straightaway, and that is when I saw her. The woman in second to last place. And that is when I told myself, you better be running. Dun, 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 dun. With 50 feet to go before the finish line, I sprinted by my newly acquired and very confused adversary. Victory was mine! Dun, 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 dun. Now I know what you're thinking. Is there really victory in passing what turned out to be a 51-year-old woman? My real victory that day was not the highly coveted second to last place, but the lesson: without hard work and preparation, you'll have to go to heroic efforts to even get mediocre results. I learned that you have to be prepared, and to be prepared, you better be running. I finished up with college, and I head off into the real world, and my running career has come to a stall once again. So I decide I'm going to run the Twin Cities Marathon. I drop a plan. I go from panting through 5Ks to picking blisters off my feet after weekend runs of 15, 18, and 21 miles. On marathon day, I churn through the miles in Minneapolis. But at mile marker 18, crossing the bridge into St. Paul, I hit the wall. My legs feel like rocks. My lungs have shriveled up into raisins. I can barely run more than 30 seconds without taking a walking break. 4 hours tick by. 5 hours tick by. My mind, just as fatigued as my legs, can barely register the marathon official yelling, "We have a 6-hour time limit. You better be running." And I swear that is exactly what he said. I finished the marathon in 5 hours, 55 minutes, and 50 seconds. 4 minutes and 10 seconds before the finish line shut down. Well, I don't like comparing myself to actual marathon runners who can watch all of Chariots of Fire waiting for me at the finish line. While my race did not go as well as I had hoped, what training for the marathon did that summer was revitalize running in my life. I know the only way to shed those extra pounds and become healthy and happy is that I need to keep telling myself that you better be running. What are the areas in your life that you better be running? In your social life, do you need to better cultivate relationships with family and friends so you don't need to hang out with your parents on prom night? At work, do you need to better focus all of your efforts on your current project so you don't have to focus all of your effort on these projects? Financially, do you need to better focus on savings and paying down debt so you don't have to walk the last third of a race for which you have trained for months? It doesn't matter if you're a lion or a gazelle or even a water buffalo. You don't need to run to avoid getting eaten. You don't need to run to avoid starving. You need to run because it is the only way to get to where you want to go, even if your destination changes along the way. But to get there, you better be running. That's